Hello, everyone. Welcome to Conversations Aloud, where we have conversations with everyday people about geopolitics, economics, culture, and society. And today, we're asking the question: is football overrated? And we're talking to someone who is a very huge football fan, probably the biggest fan I know of football. We're welcoming Gaurav Gupta to the show, who works in the pharmacy industry, is a big Forest fan, and obviously he's based in Nottingham. Welcome to the show, Gaurav.
Thank you for having me on, Hadi.
Good to have you on. So, Gaurav, my first question um, is when did you first fall in love with football?
Well, I first started playing football at school from a young age, probably kicking a ball from as young as I can remember, to be honest. But it was only when I probably got to around 7 or 8 years old and I went to my first game, and everything around that match day, everything around what that game was, just made me absolutely fall in love with not just football, but Nottingham Forest.
Who did you go with?
I went with my dad. It was actually a birthday present. So my mum and dad aren't actually football fans or Forest fans or anything, which is why it took till 8 to actually go to a game, because I've been begging them to take me to one. And what Forest and a lot of clubs up and down the country do is they know they need to get fans at a young age, make them fall in love. So obviously they become lifelong fans, which is of course what's happened with me.
So you
So they
fell
have
into that trap.
yeah, I fell for the trap. Yeah, they have so many incredible initiatives. The clubs do. They go to schools. They set up training camps. It's all very very fun. You fall in love with football first, and then of course you get an interest in your local club. So that's what happened with me. I begged my parents, look, take me to a game, please. They took me to a game, and my God, I absolutely fell in love with it.
Nice. So you don't want to, usually when you have high expectations for something, it's usually not met. But from
Mm.
what you're saying is that you were really looking forward to this game and you went there, and did it meet your expectation? Like, what was the kind of atmosphere?
Well, it completely surpassed it. And what it was is I didn't know what to expect. So with Forest, the ground is in the middle of the city basically, and you go past it pretty much every day. Even if you're not going to a game, if I'm going to the gym now, I have to go past the ground. If I'm going into town, I have to go past the ground. So I'm not going to a match, but you're going past the ground. So as a young lad, if you've not been in the ground, it's always this elusive, massive building that you don't really know what it is. And well, like I said, the people from the club have been to my school, and they'd told me about, they'd shown pictures of players had come into the school as well. Didn't really know who they were because I'd never been to a game. And then it comes to the match day, and all of a sudden you've got thousands of people wearing the same color shirt as you,
Mm.
old, young, male, female, and you're young at this time. You're a young lad, and you're walking up all them steps. It feels like, a long walk to get to your seats. And then you get there, and it opens up this thousands and thousands of fans just like you, wanting the same thing as you. And the noise, hadn't heard of a noise like it until that day. And everyone chanting together, being together. It was a sense of community right from and the match itself was 0-0. It's a 0-0 draw. There's no goals. There
No one
wasn't that much
scored.
excitement. No
Uh,
one scored. There wasn't much excitement, but that wasn't actually the point of the day. The point was just, wow,
yeah.
what is this?
So when you go and to those games,
Hmm.
do you actually watch the games, or is it more of a you're talking
Yeah,
mostly?
it's become a whole day now. So
So walk me through
I've got
that day.
yeah. So well, I'll start by saying I got my brother into it. I got my cousin into it. And it becomes a bit of a family thing as well, because they've got season tickets for me now as well. So my brother's in London. He'll come up for the
And just,
game.
just for the audience, when you have a season ticket, what does that
Yeah,
mean?
that means you basically have bought all the home matches for the season. So Forest in the
So
Premier League,
every
19
yeah,
games. So a season ticket guarantees your same seat for all 19 games.
19
So
games.
yeah, so my brother, my cousin, a mate, we're all sat together basically, and we go to all the games together, the home ones. And it's a full day now. So my brother will get the train up, or we drive up the night before, and we'll go for lunch, we'll have a few drinks before, we'll socialize, we'll go to the game. And yeah, we do watch it. We're whilst it is a social event as well, we really care for the club. The club represents the city. They're representing us. We're trying to support them as best we can. And
Yeah.
how can you do it? You do it by making noise. You do it by chanting, singing their name, really encouraging them. And then obviously after the game, you dissect it. So it is a whole day event. And yeah, you do care. You do watch you do actually
Do,
watch.
how many of the matches do you typically watch in a season, or actually not watch, but go to?
Go to a lot. So I have a season ticket, so that's 19 games right there, unless I physically have another like a wedding or another arrangement. So I can't actually go to the game.
So
But
only
then
only weddings will stop you from
yeah,
going to
and
the
yeah,
game.
pretty much.
so, so if you,
I'll book
if,
my holidays around the international break so
oh,
I don't miss games. Yeah, so I will miss minimum games, but I also am fortunate enough to be an away member, so I can get access to away matches. So last year I think I went to 9 away games as well. So it is a pretty decent amount that I
and
can.
how do you become an away member?
So that's quite sorry. It's different with different clubs. At Nottingham Forest itself, you had to have been in a way. You could buy it originally when we weren't very good and there wasn't that much interest in it. But I've had it for 10 years. So now we're in the Premier League and there's incredible interest for away tickets, especially, never mind home tickets. And luckily, I'm one of the away members. So it puts me in a ballot to get tickets, but I can get tickets fairly regularly, to be honest.
So because you've been to so many matches,
Yeah.
they allow you to.
Pretty
Okay.
much, yeah, yeah. If I wanted to be an
Yeah.
away member now, it's just not going to happen. But because
Mm,
I've been an away member for such a long time, it's just carried on.
yeah. So when you, I guess for a lot of people, and you including, I can imagine because you're from Nottingham, you feel like this is the one of the biggest things that represent the city, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Is that how it feels when you're cheering for your team? It's a representation of the city, of where you come from, of the people that you know all around you.
exactly, exactly. I mean, my family members, they're Forest fans. The ones that support football, they're Forest
The
fans.
one, the one that you talk to.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The ones I don't know who they support, but yeah, yeah. They are Forest fans, but friends from school. Actually, the first season ticket I had was someone called Dean and his family, and
I've heard of him.
yeah, Forest fan. Um, and other people in the school and just around the community. I've met so many people through Forest as well. When working in pharmacies around Nottingham, Forest fans left, right, and centre, of course, as you'd expect. One guy actually legally changed his name to Nottingham Forest on his, yeah, which was brilliant. But
Oh God.
but yeah, exactly. That's what it is. The club is the community. There's so many studies which have been conducted, which is when the club does well, the city does well economically. And
And how does that work? Why would the city do well?
because the restaurants are full, the bars are full, there is a knock-on effect. The success contributes to success to the city. I think the study was actually done on Brighton because they're now a professional football club, and it has had a direct impact on the economy for that city, and it it means a lot to the people of Nottingham because, like you said, this is the one true representation outside of we are who is supporting Nottingham Forest is people that either live in Nottingham or have a connection to Nottingham. So that is why it's quite deep rooted. You want them to do well. It's not just it'd be nice for us to win this or that. No, we need to win this match because
Yeah,
if we lose, it's a personal. I've lost. That's the
yeah,
connection. It is. It really is that strong.
yeah. It's also you see it when people talk about it. They always say we. It's like it's part of them basically.
It's a absolute collective. I mean, you'll never see trouble between one, and I'm using Forest as an example. This is going to be across every club, but between one Forest fan and another, you won't see that. You will see trouble between a Forest fan and a Leicester fan, and the Leicester fan will get backed by his fans, and the Forest fan will get backed by his fans or her
Mm,
fans, and that's what it is. You're a family. That is a community, is a family. It doesn't matter about whether you're black, white, Asian, what that does not matter. What matters, are you red or are you not a red? And that is the family. It's a huge,
Yeah.
huge community. It really is.
And I guess it is a double-edged sword in that there's, it's great that there is that belonging, but also it creates that separation. And I want to talk about that.
Mm.
But before we go into that, when you think about British culture, right? Do you see football as part of it's part of the culture?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially here. England is rare in the sense that every single town, city has a football club. Every single one. In other countries, you'll get the big clubs, and you won't get a pyramid, i.e., Premier League, Championship, League One, League that goes. It goes all the way down. There's 92 professional clubs, and then you've got all the non-league clubs, and they're all well supported. It's because that club represents your area. It's as simple as that. You can go to any town or in England, any town, small, whatever, they've got a football club that is supported by the people around or in that town. And that's why it does
Yeah.
become very tribal. It does. It's probably the only sport where you've got segregation. The away fans have to sit over there surrounded by police. The home fans have to sit over here. Away matches you go to, some places it can get really nasty. It can get quite political. So when we go
Mm.
to Sheffield United, for example, they hate Forest because of the mining strikes. And it's such a historic, it stems like half the people that throw abuse at Forest fans from Sheffield United weren't even born at the time. But
Yeah.
it's tribal. The dad is saying nasty things about Forest fans, so the kids are saying nasty things about Forest fans, and that's how and it can get ugly, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess just before we touch on that, um, do you get does this allow you to mix with people that you wouldn't be mixing with
In Nottingham,
uh, in Nottingham? Yeah.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, I've had a season ticket in this particular seat and area for 12 years now. So that seat's been mine. So basically, since I came back from university, I've got these seats and I've not changed them. And that is the same with every single person in my block. So I've known these guys for 12 years now. These
Okay.
guys and girls for 12 years. People behind me have been the same. People in front of me have been the same. Complete strangers, 12 years.
That's interesting,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, I
And
didn't never
now,
thought about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
now for 12 years, I've seen uh, one guy was a child 12 years ago, and he's now an adult. You see them grow up, and at halftime you're all talking to each other. At away matches, you all see each other. If I'm out and about in Nottingham City Centre on a weekday and I bump into someone, I can have a proper chat with them. Like,
Mm.
we're not strangers; we know each other, and
Yeah.
the same goes for away matches. You see regular faces at away matches, and you're not strangers. I can go to a match on my own now and know I will know a lot of people. And there's communities as well. So I'm part of a community called Punjabi Forest. And it's a huge community, and they all go to games, every single game, home and away. So it doesn't matter if
And
you're
just for the audience, Punjab is an area in India.
yeah. So it's a group of, and it's not just Punjabis that are part of that group. It's inclusive to everyone. But they just made a supporters group basically, and they go to every single match, and this is what I mean. It's everyone. It's an inclusive place. Everyone goes, and they're there for one reason. They're there to have a good time and support the club.
Yeah. So I guess you could say actually football does bring the city together and does bring people together as long as it's the people that support that football fan that football
Yeah, I mean,
group.
there's different levels
Mm.
to it because you get some fans that all they want to do is watch Forest do well. They're happy to sit down, watch the game, go home, job done. You get other fans that they're so passionate that they feel that they themselves are representing the club, and that means representing them off the field, which can cause, animosity with other fan supporters group. But you're absolutely right. Like, if Nottingham Forest is doing well, the city of Nottingham is a happy place to live, and
Mm.
I tell you, that season we got promoted from the Championship to the Premier League. The You just saw Forest flags everywhere in the town centre, outside the town centre. There's a massive banner of the manager at the time outside one of the pubs in Nottingham, a huge banner. And just everyone was in good spirits for that entire season because we were on an absolute roll. And now we're in
Mm.
the Premier League, it's the same. We're seeing some fantastic players on the pitch, the best players I've seen in my lifetime. And it's just a good place to be right now because things are going well. We're signing good players. We're getting better. We're getting recognized internationally as being, we're signing players that big clubs around Europe want to sign as well. We've got a defender right now that Chelsea won for 70 million. This is crazy. This is not something that has happened really in my lifetime until now. So we're doing well, which means I'm happy, which means all the other Forest fans in Nottingham are happy. And it's just,
The city's happy, the economy's growing, everything's amazing.
it's a good place. But like I said, I've seen the other side of it. I've seen it when we've gone down two divisions and it's not a nice place to live and people are not. It really plays on your emotion. The way the success of that club will determine honestly how happy or sad a Forest fan is. It doesn't matter whether he's doing or she's doing great in their job and they'll bought a new house. Doesn't matter. If Forest have lost, don't talk to me.
And that's the thing. Like, do you see more fights happen when there's losses?
No, no. I mean, you see arguments because football fans just have an opinion. If Forest lose a game, one person will think, well, it's because that player was brought on as a substitute. No, it's because we're
Mm.
playing that formation. No, it's because that guy made a mistake.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's differences of opinions. And it, Forest fans, like I said, it's family. Families do squabble, but it won't be
Yeah.
like, I'm going to fight you over this. It's not. End of the day, we're still Forest. We're still hurting. We're hurting together, right? So
Yeah.
Forest,
You-
yeah.
I mean, football does sometimes have this bad image
Mhm.
of people causing a lot of issues, getting arrested, getting bans. When do you have you experienced that?
I have mainly when you go away from home. So when we're not playing in Nottingham, there's many reasons why it does happen. And like I said, you do get some fans who feel like they're out there just to fight. Of course, they've got the Forest. Every club is a firm. They've got like a group of supporters who think they represent Nottingham and they represent the club in the name of.
Just explain firm for the
It's
audience.
basically like a group of supporters from your club, or every single club will have it. Different sizes the firms are, mainly youngsters, some old boys. It's all stemmed from like the 60s and 70s, and they'll go to other cities and they'll just fight the firms of other cities. And
And what's the difference between a firm and just the supporters?
because they identify themselves as a firm, they are supporters, or they claim to be supporters of a club, but they're the firm. They're the ones who are like, all right, we're going to go there. We're going to Leicester. We're going to Rotherham, and we're going to basically fight and win. And that's a win for them. Doesn't matter what's going on
Okay,
the
so
pitch.
it's about
That's their win.
fighting.
Yeah, yeah, that's their
Yeah.
win.
Do you know? Have you met many people in the firm?
I think it was more rife in the 70s, 80s. Then technology got better. Then CCTV got better. Then banning orders came in, and it started going down in the 90s. But what's sort of happening is, and banning orders came in, so a lot of firm members then got lifetime bans from matches. But what's
Mm.
happened is a lot of these firm members have then had kids, the kids are growing up, and they want to represent as well because they've seen their parents do it back in the day. So it's actually, I think, increasing a little bit more. And I have seen it on away matches. I've seen it last season. You see it every season, but it's just fights that break out. Not like it used to be, but yeah, it can get bad because people get drunk. People take drugs. The away matches are a day out with the lads, and
Mm.
it it's just a lot of fun for these guys. And I don't agree with it. I've been caught up, but I've never actually done. You go to places like Leeds or whatever, and it can get aggressive. It can be an individual, but yeah, I've not physically been dragged into it, but you do see it kicking off sometimes.
Yeah, I was looking at a report that said basically, I think this year was, or last season was the highest season of arrests,
Yeah,
football related arrests
yeah,
and banning orders,
mm,
drug related
yeah.
class A drugs,
I, I,
um,
I think
and that was
it stemmed from COVID, and what happened was football got locked down for about 2 years. Fans had been going to games year after year after year. All of a sudden, hadn't been to a match in 2 years, and then when they were allowed to go to games, it just exploded. It exploded. You've locked up all these guys, and they've let loose, and it's not kind of died down. It's these away days are messy. People will take the trains up, trains down. They're packed out. Drugs. It doesn't, and you can't police that. It's impossible to police that. So they're doing drugs openly on trains, drinking, rowdiness, and then you get to your destination, wherever it might be, and you're the minority. So you feel like, okay, I'm representing. You're wearing your colours. We're in your territory now, and they're drunk, high, whatever. And yeah,
by minority. You mean like you're going to an away
yeah,
match,
we're
and
the
so
away
you're
match.
the
Yeah,
yeah.
you guys are home. Even if you're not going to the match, you're probably still a supporter of that club, right? And so we're causing carnage. We're going to
So do you
walk.
get abused?
When we walk, it depends where you go. Depends where you go. Yeah,
What
sometimes
was the worst? Where's the most you get abused as a Nottingham Forest fan?
Sheffield United's quite bad. Like I said, because that stems quite historical through the mining strikes back in the day. Derby's bad. Leicester don't like us, so that can be quite bad. Uh,
But you've never been attacked.
no, I've had a brick through the window in Barnsley. Um,
You've had a brick.
yeah,
And
so I was on one of the coaches going through the town, and one of the fans threw a brick through our window.
oh wow, okay.
Yeah, Bristol City a while ago that got very aggressive, but that was because of football. Both of us were trying to get promoted, and the managers were having it off with each other in press conferences before the game, and that just revved up both set of fans, and that got nasty after the match. So it happens. It does happen.
Do you think there is a solution to that, or is it just you can't? It's just
It's
football.
football. You can't do anything about it because put it this way, like some people, football is everything. Football is their entire life. They will work to go to the games. Games are very expensive these days. Having a season ticket, going to an away matches, the drinking. When you include everything for a season, you're talking about thousands. And people need to make a choice whether they can afford and justify spending that kind of money or whether they don't do it. And the ones that choose to do it, they will work to fund this lifestyle. They will go to every. I don't go to every game. I go to quite a few, but I don't go to every game. And I certainly don't drink like that when I go to every game as well. Some people
Yeah,
do, and they'll get their own minibuses. They won't even do the arranged ones. And they'll have the same group of lads. It could be however many, 20, 30. And it's a fun time for a season. It's you and 30 of your best mates drinking, doing drugs, going up, coming back down. You might not like your life, you might not like any other aspect, but that bit you love and you can't let go of it, and it overspills, and that's fun for them.
yeah. I completely understand that it is fun, and I can imagine how fun it is. Do you feel like sometimes it's an escape for people?
Absolutely, big time, big time.
And do you feel like sometimes people will rather do that escape than work on the things that maybe they need to work on
Yeah,
to actually move away from the situation that is causing all the problems for them?
yeah, absolutely. But remember, supporting a club like Forest isn't actually a choice. It's If you're from Nottingham, you're probably going to support Forest because before you even know it, before I even went to my first match, the club had been into my school several times. Players had come in and done training sessions at my school. It's just innate that you will
Mm,
end up supporting that club, and that's happened with every single person. Who's going to choose to support? An active choice to support a team at the time that was terrible. Not many, but it's that bond, it's that representation. So it's not something you can just shake off. You can't just decide, okay, I'm not going to go to Forest. No, Forest is there, like my family is there. Now I will make sacrifices everywhere else. And a lot of people, they all they know is their football club. Their best friends are from the football club. They've met them at matches, and that's how they form their group of mates. And you can't. There's no way that's their lifestyle. That's what they love. That's what they live for. They're not going to stop doing that. Not gonna happen.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think it's great that people have an outlet to one enjoy, life, to connect with the community, to be involved and belong in something that gives them joy. But I think there's levels to it,
Mm.
and there's a line that sometimes I think we can cross. I was reading this report um, about how much time is spent with people that watch, go to the matches. It says the number of days British football fans spend on football per year is 48 days a year on average, 48 full days. That's about, if you're male, it's 25 hours per week.
Uh-huh.
That's a lot of
It
hours.
is.
Uh,
It is.
how much? And there's is saying eight times. Eight times is how much more time football fans dedicate to the footy than romantic relationships.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay.
60% of the Brits who consume football content do so during work hours,
Yeah.
and the time spent by 8% of football fans engaging with football content during work hours is 4 to 5 hours per day.
Wow.
8% of
Yeah.
football fans
Yeah.
do that. Now, this seems like, it's almost like an addiction.
Mm. Yeah.
It can be described.
I'll tell you what it is. It's now we've spoken a lot about Nottingham Forest, but football in general is like a different world. It's a different language. If you watch football and know about football, you can have a footballing conversation for hours, and I've done it, hours and hours and
I've
hours.
seen it.
Yeah, you've seen it. Like,
Never experienced it
no,
because I don't know much about
yeah,
football, but
exactly.
I've seen it.
Don't even talk about a match. There are things like
It's like a
VAR.
different language.
Yeah, it is. There's things like VAR, financial fair play. These are all off the field things. I could talk for hours on both. Never mind players, never mind teams, never mind transfers, never mind results. Add it all together, and you have so much to talk about. And because you find it interesting, anyone else who's a football fan will also find it interesting. It's a different language. And if you don't like football, you will not understand it. You just won't get it. But if you do, you'll have a proper conversation and be able to talk about it for hours. So it's one of them. Yeah, Forest is the team I support. Someone else will support Liverpool, someone support Man U. Fine, you got all them things. That is just who you're passionate about. But everyone loves football. They love the sport. Everyone, for example, right now is watching the Euros, and I pretty much watched every single match of the Euros. Then you've got all the controversies that's going on. Then you've got all the debates about why are England not performing the way they do for their clubs? Why is he playing on the left? What formation? And because you're passionate and you love it so much, why would you not talk about it? Why would you want to talk about anything else? Because
People might say, well, it's great that people are passionate about something like that, but there might be more important things that are happening in the world right now,
there is,
um,
yeah,
that football just kind of takes the stage
yeah,
for,
because
when we need to be discussing those things.
football makes you happy. Yeah, a lot of things. I know people that don't even watch the news because it depresses them. Why would you
Yeah.
actively put yourself in that situation just because, yeah, the real life is more important, but it's making me sad. But hang on a second, this is making me quite happy. I'm enjoying this conversation. I want to talk about football, and I'm not saying I just solely talk about football. Yeah, of course, there's other things that I'll do, and I try and be as rational as I can in my own life because I could go to every game if I wanted to and spend all that money. But the money really could be put somewhere else.
Yeah, I was looking at the statistics. It was saying on average now people spend about £3,000 per season.
Yeah. Doesn't shock me. Does not shock me. My season ticket this year cost £700 for 19 games. That is without
And that's quite. I think that's quite low
that.
compared to other.
That's it's that no. That is probably mid for a Premier League club. Mid. Yeah, yeah.
And just for the audience, Premier League is the top
The
league.
top league. Yeah.
Below that is Champions League,
Championship,
uh, and
and then you've got
and
League
then
One, which is
and
Division
then
Three, and League.
and then Nottingham Forest got went up when,
Yeah.
like
So we
last
went
season,
up. This will be our third season in the Premier League. So we went up 3 years ago
three
in the
years ago.
Championship
Yeah.
to the Premier League. Yeah. So in the Championship, our season ticket was about £500. Now it's gone creeped up to about 700. If we stay up again, 800. It will keep going up now until. But I actually had an interesting discussion with one of my friends at my old work, where I used to work, and he's an Aston Villa season ticket holder, and his season tickets are creeping up as well. And there's always when the prices go up, there's always controversy because football is seen as like the workman's man sport, and they're the ones getting priced out because the prices are going up and up and up. And he said to me, "How much would your limit be? What price would you have to say? Hang on a second, that is a bit too much for me to pay." And I said to him, "You're gonna laugh." I said to him, "There is no price.
Uh,
There is no." And he looked back and said, "Same." He looked back and said,
yeah.
"Same." And that is what it means because it's not just I want to watch 19 games of Premier League football. No, it's everything else that comes with it. I know if I don't renew, I won't. The demand is so high, I won't get a ticket. I like sitting in the same place that I've sat for 12 years with all the same people around me, where I can discuss things, see the same faces, socialize,
Yeah.
see my brother. There's a lot that goes into a match day now.
Yeah. And I think for a lot of people that's a big point because if you're not involved with football, to you football is just a game.
Yeah,
But what you're saying, it's much more than just a game. It's actually the game is a small part of it.
correct.
It's about the atmosphere, the belonging, the
Yeah,
community, the faces,
that's
the
yeah.
spending time with each other. It's what brings people together.
Sometimes the game is actually the smallest part of it. Sometimes the game it depends on the
Mm.
match.
It doesn't look it
No,
from the outside.
no, because it'll be on Sky Sports. It'll be the big
Yeah.
match. There's a big crowd. Everyone's assuming, everyone's there because they want to see this match, right? No, that's not right. Number one is routine. Number two is part of your week. Number three is the connections you make, the people you see. Sometimes it's the only time I see people. Will be at football matches. I'll sometimes get to a match or around the area, West Bridgeford, 3 hours before a match and just meet different people in different bars. It's a social thing. It gets you outside. It just forces you to just do things that you'll only do on that one day. And then the home match is every 2 weeks. So it's once every couple of weeks.
Yeah. And you mentioned there before you were saying that in Europe it's actually not. It's different.
Yeah,
Uh,
to an extent.
how is it different in Europe?
The support. You'll never see, put it this way, you'll have the top division in England, the top division in France, the top division in Germany, the top division in all the top leagues in Europe, right? The fifth most supported league in Europe is England Division 2, right? So you've got the Premier League, which is obviously the first, and I think Spain is above that. I think Italy is above that. And there's one more. And then it's our Division 2. And then everyone else is number one top divisions. That's how well supported it is. Division 2.
Wait, so Division Two? Oh, Division Two as in champions.
Yeah, Championship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah.
better supported than other European leagues, Division 1s.
Mm,
And then League One is like the eighth. That's Division 3 is like the eighth in Europe, ahead of other leagues, Division 1s. That's how much it is because it's that representation of what that club is. I'm not saying other leagues aren't passionate. I'm sure they are. But you get Notts County, the other club in Nottingham. They're getting thousands per week. They are in Division 3. What, no, Championship? Division 4. They're in Division 4. And they are getting thousands home. And they're taking at least 1,000, 1,500. This is Division 4 football. And people are dedicating their life to supporting a Division 4 club.
yeah,
And
that's crazy.
that is what
Yeah.
you don't see. We have a massive non-league system. So Division 6 to like 9. non-league, and they are well supported. And this is the point. You will never, ever, ever see a pyramid like that anywhere else in the world. And it's
Mm.
because of what the football club mean to the area. Doesn't matter how big the area is. Does not matter. It doesn't matter how good that club is. That also doesn't matter. It is U11 players represent me, my street, my area, my town, whatever, and we will back you to the very, very end, good or bad.
Mm.
That's what it means in England. And that's why it's so
Yeah.
passionate. And that's why it can spill over. And that's why emotions, it really impacts your emotion, whether you're happy or you're sad. It's dictated by football. And it's interesting.
I feel that. No, I feel that. Tell me about how different it is when you're going to see a Forest match
Mm.
and when you're seeing England play in the Euros or World Cup.
Yeah, it's very different. It's very different. I'm trying to how do I explain this? So I've just come back from the Euros. I watched England's last match where Bellingham scored the one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was
Yeah,
great.
yeah, it was a great finish. But
So that was England
what
versus
was that Slovenia? Slovenia or Slovakia? One of them I can't remember, to be honest. But one of those, I think
Slovakia.
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 Yeah,
Yeah,
England,
Slovakia. Yeah.
Slovakia, and yeah, we're in Dusseldorf for 4 days, and we got there, and it's a different vibe because you I feel like it's when you follow England abroad, and I've seen England twice now, one at the Euro final in 2021 at Wembley, and now here for England, Slovakia. And I feel like it just brings out the worst in football fans. Honestly, I feel like it really brings out the worst. And I was there with a group of 10 people, and I don't know. These are the type of England fans I don't really see at Forest matches, and they're just extremely.
Like what type?
They're just very loud, very rude. They want to make it a point that England have arrived in your city, and this is now
We have
we have
arrived.
arrived, and this is now our city for the next couple of days. That
Okay.
is what it is. They're
Very in your face.
so in your face, wanting trouble because now it's their chance to fight for England. Basically, yeah, come on, you want to fight? Go on, I'll fight you. I'm representing England, and it's
Mm.
that pride, and I feel like England supporting England away is almost becoming associated with violence, trouble. And what happens is I don't know how many tickets we get given for England matches, but triple the amount of fans will come. They just want to be in the city that England are playing in,
Mm.
and
Okay.
they just want to experience the drinking. But don't get me wrong, I was drinking as well. We were out all day, but friendly natured, and you meet other friendly natured England fans there. But there are just a lot that are there to spend 4 days abroad, 3 days abroad, cause absolute carnage, and then watch England and come back. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. I mean, there's always happy drinking and there's always like angry, aggressive
yeah,
drinking.
it's a very strange vibe. And then you saw it after the Euros when in the final. What happened?
And that was in a way.
That was at home. Yeah, yeah, and it was absolute carnage around Wembley. Almost put me off going to see an England match after that one.
There's even a documentary,
There is, and
which is the attack on Wembley. I saw it. It was crazy.
it is crazy. I couldn't believe my own eyes. Honestly, I could not believe my own eyes. And animal behavior. That's the only way I can describe it. Horrible. People getting punched.
Why do you feel it's different with England? Is it just bigger, more pride? Is it that comes in the way?
It's hard. I think Forest is local. Nottingham is local. If I go to a match, I can walk there. If you go to England, it's more effort. And some people are a bit more dissociated with England. I know. There's this thing called club over country. Okay, which means I support my club more than I care about how the country England does. I'm a Forest fan, not so bothered with, and because of that mindset, a lot of fans of clubs will just watch their club, and they'll watch England on the TV when tournaments are played and stuff like that. There's other fans which are country over club, okay, and it's I am England. I will follow them home and away, and that's absolutely fine. but it's when that can spill over, and you will get individuals. So sometimes you can just attract. I feel like England can just attract the worst of every fan group, the worst of the Forest fans, the worst of the Leicester, and they'll all congregate there, and together, that is a community. That is what they formed in an hour in Germany. There's obviously a rivalry between England and Germany, which kind of heightens things as well because they're trying to antagonize the Germans whilst they're out there. And it can just get nasty.
But when you say rivalry, why is
So,
there?
through the world wars, things like that.
Okay.
And that, there were World War chants going on whilst we're out there, just trying to
Yeah.
rile up Germans to fight. And yeah, it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant. But at the actual game itself, yeah, it's always good to watch England play themselves. It's a shame about all the rest of it. But they're not all like that. It's just fractions that you do get.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, like that's what usually gets amplified. It's the extremes that get amplified.
Yeah.
And you see that in everywhere. Do you feel like in Europe it's similar, or is England fans like a lot more extreme than
I
other
think
fans?
England fans, I've not seen too much of other European countries, but they also fight as well. So I know England fans get bad press as soon as they do something. All the press is on them, and sometimes it's not even their fault. Sometimes they get antagonized because when you put yourself out there as an England fan and you're seen as you want to have a fight, every other country wants to fight you then because they want to be like,
Mm.
we knocked out the England. They want to be
Yeah.
able to say that. So you become a bit of a target. And some England fans want that. They want fans to come to them and then they have a fight. They want that scrap. Other
Yeah.
England fans aren't interested in it. But if they're wearing the colours, they can get dragged into it because they just assume every England fan wants to have that fight. But yeah, it's
So very interesting. So my last question is, if you had to choose between England winning the Euros, or let's say England winning the World Cup, and Forest winning the Premier, which one would you rather have?
Forest every day of the week. Yeah.
Really?
If I had a choice,
Okay.
if we were in the Championship and I had a choice of Forest to get promoted or England winning the World Cup, I'd choose Forest to get promoted. Not even win anything,
Interesting.
just to get to the top division. I
Very
am club
interesting.
over country. I love England. I want them to do well, but I've been going to Forest since I was 8 years old. That's
Yeah,
that's
it means more to.
that, it
Do you
means,
think more people are like that?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That I've seen England twice in my life, right? Apart from on TV, of course, I've watched them on TV. I've seen
Mm,
Forest hundreds. I can't even count how many times I've seen Forest.
it's part of
It's
you,
part of me. I've
basically.
I've been watching them since I've been growing up. I've got friends who are as passionate as me about the club. I've seen them through all their ups, their downs. I've been to home, away, been all over the country supporting Forest. That you can't replace that. You can't go above that in any other part of football. That is number one. England number two.
Would you say it's part of your identity?
Absolutely. Yeah. I've got it on my CV, I think.
What do you have on your TV?
I think I've got it. Actually, you laugh, right? But I've got a Forest season ticket holder as part of my interests. And I tell you, it comes up. It comes up. That's what
Yeah.
football does because it's an interesting thing. If the guy interviewing me is an Ipswich Town fan and he says, "Oh, he's a Forest fan," there's a conversation there, and that happened in my last interview. It got brought up right at the end, and we had about a 5-10 minute conversation about football. So yeah,
And that's an instant way to connect with someone, right?
exactly. If you know
Yeah.
that
Because it's like speaking with someone in another
it
language
is,
that,
it
yeah.
is, it is,
Yeah.
it is. That's why I put it on there because if they don't like football, it does nothing. If they like football, I can guarantee you a 10-15 minute conversation at the end of that interview, and he'll like me or she'll like me. So
Yeah.
yeah, I got on my CV.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Gaurav, thank you so much for joining us. Had a really insightful conversation around football, and I actually learned a lot around what it means to people. Um, my last question is: are you going to take me to my first football match?
absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
I'm still waiting.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it. Let's get it in.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gaurav.
Nice one, mate. Thanks for having me.
See you there.
Take
Bye.
care, man.